All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it looks like we finally got a response from the Stellar Blade director about the entire censorship debacle, the outfit debacle. We got the official response, and it's basically what you could expect from them, because listen, they're tied by Sony, okay? Sony is their publisher. We already know that Sony is going to control what they say, what they're allowed to say, when they're allowed to say it, and who they're allowed to say it to. We have an article here from Bounding Into Comics with a headline that reads, Stellar Blade director responds after patch, censors holiday rabbit outfit, and claims that the updated design was always intended as the final version.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
So, ladies and gentlemen, what does this headline basically translate to? It translates to utter and complete BS. We already know that this is not the truth. We can tell, like I said in my last video, forget the words, right? Forget the words. Look at the actions. You could tell that this is complete and utter BS, that he is trying to protect Sony. And listen, he has to. He's contractually obligated to do so. He cannot go against Sony and say, yeah, it's all Sony's fault. You can't do that when Sony basically funded this entire game and Sony is your publisher. It's just not going to happen. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says, in development that suggests that there are truly no heroes left in man. Following the discovery that a patch censored the game's holiday rabbit outfit, Stellar Blade director Hyung Tae Kim has claimed that he has always intended for the updated, less risque version of the costume to be its final design. Now, I call bullshit, okay? Why do I call bullshit? Well, it's very obvious. Ladies and gentlemen, the disc is literally what has 1.0 on it, right? The disc is what has the final version, the launch version of the game. Obviously, we live in the age of the internet where you can patch things, you can change things, but the patch that has come out is not 1.0. The patch that has come out is 1.0.2 or 1.2, whatever the hell it's called. It is an update patch. It is an after release patch. It is a alter the final version of the game patch. If the internet didn't exist, the final version of the game will be what's released on the disc. Obviously, you have digital only games that don't work the same way, and that's different. But this game has a physical release. It has a disc. The disc has the launch version of the game. That is the final version of the game. And what do we see in that version? We see uncensored outfits. We see uncensored graffiti. We see uncensored everything. We see uncensored gore. But in this particular version, with 1.2, after the patch, after release, post-release patch, which is not the final version, you have censorship literally everywhere. That is why I cannot believe a single word that he is saying. And again, I've said it in many different videos. This man is just playing ball with Sony. I get it. Shift Up is trying to go public. They got fully funded by Sony for this game. This is essentially Sony's baby, and Sony is going to be the publisher for this game, and contractually speaking, he can't speak out against them. As seen in both the game's demo and its unpatched on-disc release, the original version, which is the real version, of the Honey Rabbit outfit provided Stellar Blade protagonist Eve with a hooded leotard featuring a bunny tail pom-pom on its back and a plunging cleavage-heavy neckline on its front. However, following the release of the game's Day 1 patch, the same one that censored the game's hard graffiti graphic due to concerns that one particular instance of the image could be taken in bad faith as a reference to the N-word racial slur, players soon found that rather appearing as it did originally, the Honey Rabbit outfit now covers up Eve's chest with a lacy undershirt, aka the modernity claw, and extends out towards the bottom in order to cover up the amount of skin shown around her thighs. And again, they couldn't even give you the same coloring, so that they wanted you to know that this was different. They wanted you to know that this was changed. Like, they couldn't even give you the same shade so that you had to think twice about it. No, they clearly show that it has been censored with a different shade of black. And of course, they have the modernity cloth. It's the same exact modernity cloth that was given to Tifa to cover up her boobs as well. They only do this to Eastern characters. They only do this to characters that are not deemed as safe horny by the West. These characters that are traditionally sexy females that many women honestly look like and are very realistic, the ugly ones cannot aspire to be this, thus they cannot showcase it. And a lot of the ugly ones unfortunately work in the Western gaming industry. We have seen that as a fact. So now you have this modernity cloth that's going to cover up all the cleavage, and this is essentially the Own the Chuds cloth too. That's what they want to call it. The Own the Chuds cloth that they're going to put on every single Eastern traditionally beautiful female to try to hide the fact that it's a real female. It says, unsurprisingly, upon its discovery that a bit of stealth censorship prompted outrage from excited players, many of them feeling particularly betrayed given developer Shift Up's previous promise that the game will be released uncensored, which again, I've said this the entire time that this is the problem. This statement right here is the reason why this entire thing is blowing up as big as it is. To this end, one fan sought to take the issue directly to Kim himself, which I respect. That's how you're supposed to do it. Per a translated video shared to our Stellar Blade subreddit during an April 26th launch event for the highly anticipated action title, Kim was asked by an attendee if there had been any thinking of rolling back to the version before the censorship. In turn, the director affirmed, understandably, we also recognize this issue. However, the final costume that we wanted to show you is indeed the costume in version 1.0.0.2. Bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit, ladies and gentlemen. This man is playing defense for Sony. That is all he's doing. I want to clarify that that is our final product, he added. However, I know this is not the answer enough to convince our users, because it's not. You know it's not going to convince people because you know it's bullshit. You know that everything you're talking about is literally bullshit. Nobody's going to believe you that this is your final design when you've been running with this outfit rampant in all your press releases, all your showcases. You've been running with all these outfits rampant, non-censored, and now all of a sudden the censored outfits are your final design. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody, bro. Like, and I get it. You need to put out this bullshit lie at the behest of Sony, you know, but it's still, nobody's gonna fall for it. It says there is an eternal discussion going on regarding this, so that I think we'll have a chance to answer it soon. As noted above, while the patch version of the game censors the Honey Rabbit outfit, players can still access the original costume by playing the physical release and declining to update it. Oh, so you mean that players can access the uncensored version on the disc, which has the final build of the game that wasn't censored? Yeah, shocking. It says, unfortunately for players who had hoped the Korean action title would stand tall as a pillar of anti-censorship amidst an ever-growing puritanical media environment, this is not only the confirmed instance of censorship in Stellar Blade. In addition to the aforementioned censorship of the game's hard graffiti, players have also reported that the Day 1 patch had drastically reduced the amount of blood and gore effects throughout Eve's adventure. And again, this is an M-rated game. This is my biggest problem with this. It's an M-rated game, and you're censoring shit like sex and gore and blood. Like, M-rated games used to mean something. You know what I mean? Like, M-rated games used to be, oh shit, it's about to go down in whatever game this is, because if they had to rate it M, that means the studio said, you know what, we're gonna respect our artistic integrity and we're just gonna go for it. And even if it gets the worst rating out there, we're still gonna hope that it's successful enough to carry us through, because we want to respect our integrity as artists and we want to make sure that people get the final version. That's not the case here. Shift Up is completely bent over when it's come to Sony, because they have to. Like I said before, Sony is their publisher. Sony damn near funded the entire fucking project. Sony owns them through and through. And when Shift Up eventually goes public, I am sure that Sony is going to have a lot of shares in that company for many different reasons. Maybe even BlackRock might be wanting to have a couple of shares in the game. So listen, guys, I don't really think that Shift Up should be a pillar of some sort of anti-censorship. As much as we love to make them into a martyr, they really should not be. You know, these companies are just doing what companies will always do, and they're going to follow the money. And if the money is being provided by Sony, then guess what? They're going to do everything that Sony says, even lie for them like he is in this video over here. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.